Hey, thank you for tuning in. These are podcasts from Playa del Carmen, Mexico during lockdown in the time of COVID 19. Hi, you guys. Thank you for tuning in. This is Lockdown Diaries number 13. This is about take 4. The first one I realized I was talking about a topic I already did before. The second one, a heavy truck stopped in front of my house with announcements. The third one, my computer was telling me all sorts of instructions what I needed to do. Um, so this is number 4. Let's see if it works this time, okay? What I was telling in the previous recording that I feel a lot more energetic and I seem to be getting in some sort of a rhythm. I don't really like it because I get up like 4:30 in the morning. I wake up 4:30 in the morning, which makes my day extremely long. But it's good to wake up and feel energetic again. It's a better feeling than I had like say a week ago when I was a kind of pathetic little me. Uh, I think it is because, well, it can have two reasons. Either I'm settling down in this whole lockdown thing and I realize it's for the best and I cannot change anything about it, even if I get all worked up about it. Another thing can be because I added a huge dose of vitamin C to my daily vitamins. I take this B complex vitamins with Q10 added to it. I do that on purpose because I do need some extra B vitamins to prevent from slipping into a depression. I find it very helpful if I take portions of magnesium, a certain type of magnesium, and certain vitamin B. Um, it's difficult to find these two in Mexico. In the Philippines, I found a good brand that worked perfectly. I only took the magnesium and that worked. Here, I'm still trying to find uh, the right tablets and the right brand for me to take that is also affordable. I'm sure there are products like this in the health stores I see in the malls, but I walked in one day to look at them and they're extremely expensive. And I know there are more affordable brands, but when you go to the pharmacy, um, there doesn't seem to be much of a choice. It's two, three brands you have, and so I'm still working through it. I found Similaris, the pharmacy. The lady there was very knowledgeable about what I was looking for, and she advised me to take these B vitamins. Um, it's a multi B vitamin thing with extra elements like magnesium, zinc, and stuff like that. And they work pretty good, but adding the extra dose of vitamin C does the trick. I have no idea why, but and maybe it's just because full moon passed. That's also possible. I'm very sensitive to full moon. I can go completely crazy around full moon. I sleep bad. I have these long nights of insomnia the week before full moon, you know, when the moon is getting bigger and bigger. I must say that I always have had that my whole life, I think. But living in tropical climates like the Philippines and now even in Mexico, that seems to have increased. No idea why. Maybe it's a combination of daylight and nighttime balance. You know, the light is more divided more equally. Like in the Netherlands, you would have these really short days and then the long summer days. Here, every day is the same set of hours, um, more or less. In Mexico, there's a little more daylight than there was in the Philippines. I find that daylight night division that I have here, like um, 8 to 10 hours daylight and the rest nighttime, I find that very pleasant. I feel that I am well, it influences me somehow. And in the Netherlands, I was always a bit off. And then you had summertime, wintertime, that would really throw me off. Um, I don't miss the long, dark periods from the winter. I abide by this daylight, nighttime division. So that's a good thing, right? And then, well, adding the little vitamins and everything that keeps me off my medication against depression. Why am I sharing this with you? I have no idea if it's interesting at all, but anyway, that's how I woke up this morning, and I still have a long day ahead of me. Um, at the moment, I find the news in Mexico a bit disturbing. It seems like things are contradicting themselves. They say we are peaking at the moment. You guys in Europe and in America, well, I'm not sure about America. The news is very mixed, but in Europe, you certainly are past the peak and heading for phase 2 and phase 1 again. So on the return of the pandemic. Here in Mexico, we are still peaking. Some say we're peaking, others say no, this is not the peak. The peak will be here in June. The government keeps saying these are the weeks that we will have the most sick people and the highest death tolls. On the other hand, the press conference I saw the other day was very confusing. The sub-minister of health, he was distracted, he was disorganized. I've never seen him like that. And he announced that there will be new measurements to control the virus. And all my state seems to do is create more beds and more beds. So maybe they know something they don't tell the public. I don't know. I'm tired of this everything. I looked at Spain and Italy, and I was hoping that that would not happen here. I looked at New York, I saw it creeping into the Americas, and I thought, oh my God, I hope this is not going to happen here. The government has been very confident about controlling this pandemic in Mexico. And I must say, when I look at the numbers, I know those are only tested numbers and they don't test as much here as they do in other countries, but there are ways to report. If you have a fever and a cough, you are supposed to call a landline and somebody will come and with a questionnaire and do a health check to decide if you need to be tested for coronavirus. So there is a system of monitoring. The only weak link in that system is if people don't call, they don't know. So, but that's with every system. I guess it's as strong as the weakest link. Um, I don't understand why you would create so many beds in emergency hospitals if it's under control. And I don't understand why death toll is still rising. And we were under the uh, impression that the sana distancia, which started at March 23, was bearing fruits already. And still death toll is rising. So are we in for an Italian experience, something like that? Um, I'm still not sure if lockdown is the way to handle this. If I look to countries that have been under a severe lockdown and they still have these huge death tolls, I think the virus spreads in more ways than we know. And I guess we just have to deal with it, that it's become part of our daily lives. And yeah, we can control the huge outbreak, but after that it will still be among us and it will flare up every now and then. I spoke about that in a podcast before, that I say maybe the emphasis should not only be controlling the outbreak, but it should also be living a healthier lifestyle, um, have a higher hygiene standard, and be more aware of vulnerability instead of living in this ignorant bliss like we are the masters of the universe. Because if anything this virus has taught us is that we are not invincible. We are so vulnerable. Even in the first world, where they say they have the best health care, um, they are vulnerable as well. And that arrogance, I think, has made this virus more, no, that arrogance has made us more vulnerable to the virus. And that's why I'm not sure this whole lockdown thing will work. And I read an article in the New York Times where someone explained how previous pandemics ended. I think with COVID-19, although the government is taking all these measurements around the world, how to live in the new reality and the new society, I think that's all bullshit. It's gonna last maybe half a year at maximum, because a 1.5 meter society is not sustainable. And the people will call this pandemic to an end on social means. Already, like in countries like Mexico, the questions are rising. We are a nation that loves to touch each other, that loves to hug. Do we have to change our cultural habits and our natural way of dealing with people over a threat of a virus that we do not even exactly know, uh, and that we do not even exactly believe how it came about? I think if you add that all up, the misinformation, the false information, the shady information you sometimes get from governments all over the world, not only in Mexico or in Europe, but all over the world. It's like a world grasping at straws. And I think this pandemic will end by social means. People will get tired of it and just start living again and take the risk of getting sick and maybe even die of COVID-19. And then, just like people die from the flu every year, it's just a matter of lifestyle. And I think that, as for me, I don't have a chronic disease. It is very important that I have a healthy lifestyle so that the virus will not have a grip on me. And that is the way I can protect those that do have a chronic disease. Because if I live healthy, um, the chances that I get sick are small. And that means that the chance I infect another person are even smaller. And that means that I protect the people around me with or without a chronic disease. Okay, guys, thank you for listening. I think I shared a little bit more about my thoughts on a previous podcast I did on this whole pandemic, when I said that I missed some information that is really going to beat the virus. Um, I hope you tune in with me tomorrow. I will be talking to you again from Playa del Carmen in Mexico City, where I am in lockdown since, well, not completely locked down, but sana distancia since March 23, and on lockdown since May 1, with very, very, very heavy restrictions. Stay safe, stay healthy, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you get an update. Hit the bell so you get an update when I upload the next podcast tomorrow. Bye bye for now.